Hello and welcome to MotoGP Mac, where MotoGP fans come to congregate and fanboys for your tread. How you doing today, buddy?
Jesus, sure. Well, what is it? We're above ground and we're breathing. That's
I got to give a shout out. I got to give a shout out to
Mhm.
drum our members from the last couple of articles you put out. They were saying that I was proud of them. They were saying that when push comes to shove, even though they want to see another manufacturer
Mm.
than Scotty win, you can't. You got to let the best manufacturers. You don't hamper them till it kills them. Let the best let the best manufacturer win. Don't hinder them to death.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's a
Like,
smart way to go. As far as that's the person who's an enthusiast of the sport, not a fanboy of a brand. You know.
yeah, but I think Jake, like it's always been like I am happy to have any logical debate with anyone on their manufacturer, right? And
Yeah,
like
but it always comes
a
back.
comp, put a
Rule of
comp.
thumb is it always comes back to the center. Eventually, somebody's going to, like we always said, somebody's going to copy. They're going to look over. What do they?
Yeah, yeah, but look,
That, that
copying
works
is
best.
copying is the finest compliment that you can have in this
It
sport,
works the
right?
best, though. It works the best. That because it finds its own level. You know.
Yeah, yeah, but look, I suppose Jake, we're like I
You,
always see it from a fan's point of view, right? And like my young fella is a big Wolverhampton Wanderers fan, right? A Premier League club in Britain, right? And
Mhm.
they're getting their asses fucking handed to them. Do you know what I mean? And like every week they lose a game, and he's like, "That's it, I quit, I give up, and whatever." And I reassure him, and I was like, this is your team, this is your blood, your Wolverhampton Wanderers through and through. Hard times are the times that you stick by them. Do you know what I mean? The good times and it's like, thing. And I can understand that, and I call that loyalty, right? And I commend anyone for being a Honda fan. If you're
Right.
a Honda
Yeah.
fan,
You're a true fan. I mean, not
you know,
not because you have one in your garage, but you are one because you like the brand. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, do you know what I mean? And like when my young fella decided to follow Wolverhampton Wanderers, it was not because of a player, it was not because of this or that and the other. He
Yeah.
saw the crest of the badge and he liked the crest of the badge. And that's why he became a Wolves fan. Right?
Mhm.
Now, Wolves are kind of like a small dot. So like this is actually like in realistic terms, this is my young fella following a Moto 2 team.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
And the team of a Moto 2 team, not the riders or anything like that. Is like, while they are a good team, they're not always the best, and they have relegation issues and fights and troubles, and this, and it's a life of hardship to be a Wolves fan, right? Just like just putting it that way, right? So like, rare you're going to get into the top half of the championship. So if you're to put it in MotoGP terms, rare you're following a team that's rare to get a podium or may get. Do you know what I mean? That's the ultimate goal. So winning the league is not really on it. Winning the world championship, it's not really a factor. So I commend anyone that's a fan like that, because they believe in this, that, and the other. But there's a couple of things where I think it's like, you know, Honda are going to win the world championship because they're Honda. That doesn't fly with me, right? I'm like,
They have to win because they're Honda. That doesn't fly with me. You know what I
like,
mean?
no, it's non-logical sense of, look at where Honda are right now, right? Past performance does not guarantee future championships.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, look at all these best fighters, all of these best athletes. They run out of puff, right? And while they
Every
were
dog has its day. You know.
while they were on top at that point, I'm like, look, they're a long way away. I commend you for being a Honda fan and wearing your T-shirt and being proud to be a Honda fan or any other fan. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of any other team. But I commend people for doing it. But then when you're like, oh, well, but we're going to win because of this, let's be logical. Do you know what I mean? You're 7/10 of a second, 8/10 of a second, 9/10 of a second off.
Yeah.
You know, that's not going to be caught up in a year. That's not. Do I like what Dorna have done? And I don't like what Dorna have done. I understand what Dorna were trying to achieve. But if there was a regulation change, I don't think Honda and Yamaha were going anywhere Anyway,
But they end up hitting. What happened is they end up hitting hitting the fly with a hammer, trying to figure out the situation. And that hammer always comes down on the best manufacturer. And
yeah.
they hit them instead of saying, "Hey, pick yourself up by your own bootstraps."
Yeah, look, I think the other side of the coin, right? And look, let's be fair on this, right? And we've said this openly. Honda and Yamaha were fucking sleeping at the wheel, both believing that aliens were this, that, and the other, right? Even with a full change of concessions, right? They don't have the understanding of what's going on with the latest spec of engineering of or evolution of how to build a MotoGP bike. Like if you look at it, that like book by Spalders, and lads, if you don't have it, go buy the book by Neil Spalding on a MotoGP bike, right?
Yeah.
But that book now is out of date.
Right. Yeah.
But the Yamaha and Honda are that was their bread and butter. That's how you built a motorcycle. That's how you went racing. That's how you did it, right?
Yeah.
But the rules have changed, and like one of the thing that I love about Gigi Dall'Igna, right? Of course he loves winning. Of course he wants to better his championship. Of course he wants to. But the raw fact of the matter is that he looks at the calendar as every individual race.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want to win. I want to win the race. I don't care about that we won more races this year than last year. I want to win every race.
Every race. Yeah.
And that's the difference. And like they're alone in the senior leadership of Ducati. There is that fucking urge to like, I got to win. I want to win. I'm not fucking happy if I'm not winning.
Right.
It doesn't matter about championships. It doesn't matter about records. It doesn't matter about this. If you look across the pond in Japan, that's not the philosophy.
Yeah, and they say you go to Ducati, the whole factory's that way. Like the whole factory.
Oh yeah. Well, but that's
not a problem. Not gonna. We're racing. You know.
Yeah. And look, that's the way it's got to be now, right?
Yeah.
You got to be testing and racing at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, like you're sitting there and going, this is the problem. You know, okay, we need to spend 40 minutes of one of the practice sessions running this across 2 guys or 3 guys. Let's get that feedback. Let's get that data. Let's understand what it is. Let's try this though. Do you know what I mean? It's not like, and that could be 2 weeks between a race. Part has come, a solution has been found, a part has been readied, and let's go. Anyway, on to KTM. And there's a lot of things, and I don't really like reporting too much in it, but I've seen a couple of text messages, but also comments, not just on my own one, but I saw a couple on like Facebook and this and that and the other. And like, this is obviously really bad publicity for KTM, right? But obviously at the 3 billion euros, and we don't know is that fully right. Now we know they've like €1 billion worth of stock or something in the shed, literally not sold, but they were testing during the week, and I was going to do a video about it, and I was actually I'm not going to do a video about KTM testing in Jerez. And it's come out today that apparently the workers in KTM are not going to get their salary this month. Right?
Yeah.
And it does happen, right? But if you kind of see what's going on here, right? And I kind of wanted to explain this to people because some people might not necessarily fully understand what's actually happening. So there's KTM, and then there's KTM subsection, which is a separate company for the MotoGP team.
Yeah.
So the MotoGP team apparently is fine, right? It has the funding to run for 2 years and all of this. That's what they're saying.
It's already paid out.
Yeah, it's all, yeah. So if you look at it, okay, there's the bad press, right, that they're in financial trouble. But then there's also the bad press that the MotoGP team is spending millions.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? While the workers of the standard factory are going without. Do you know what I mean? And so there's a kind of thing. And the reason that is happening is that they're completely separate entities.
Yes. That money's already been spent and spent.
Well, it's not that it's just been spent, but it's a completely different company.
Yeah.
Do
Right.
you know what I mean? And that's kind of what I wanted people to understand, is that KTM Racing and KTM AG or whatever it is are completely separate, right?
It's
So
like Ferrari's a different company than the Ferrari Racing.
yeah. So it's more so it's the thing, because I know people would have been a little bit confused within it, kind of like, well, I thought they were bankrupt, but they're still testing. The funding and the budget is still there, and apparently the funding and budget is still there for 25-26. Now, your guess is as good as my guess. Like, realistically, the way this could impact KTM is that the engine is almost there and it's frozen, right? So the development really is going to be fuck all, Joe, to be over the course of the next 2 years. So it's not a bad thing to hold on to. So let's just say, for instance, right, on the 25-26 season, there is very, very little development to do. So the cost of running the team would actually be very, very minimal, right?
Right.
So when you look at it in this way, you know, it's still a really good advertising opportunity, regardless whether KTM have bikes in the road racing spectrum, right? Like, I think it's probably more brand damaging and further brand damaging if they shut down the MotoGP project.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Now, what do I really think is going to happen? I think probably 25-26 is okay, but 27 is in doubt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Especially with this the new rules. You're talking a whole new bike, so it's a whole.
and that's where I think the development freeze is going to kick in.
Yeah.
So once with that development, it's shocking. Do you know what I mean? That's going to be the major problem there. That development freeze kicks in. Or sorry, not the development freeze. Sorry. So the development freeze kicks in, so they don't have any money to spend really on it, right? So it's fine, it's affordable.
And you heard it here first when I said this shouldn't happen, not right now. Remember, I said with the economics of the motorcycle industry, I said this should not happen right now.
Well, yeah, like I think there's going to be a massive thing, like, because like I'm hearing now that they put MV Augusta up for sale,
yeah,
and all that is. Now, look, at the end of the day, I think they'll still run 25-26. 27 is a doubt, and the doubt of 27 is that they won't have any money 25-26 to develop for 27. That's where I think it's going to hit. So, and if you listen to what KTM are saying, they're saying, yes, we're going to be loyal to Dorna for the 25-26 season, you know, because it's actually not going to be that much of a cost. Most of the expense is now already over because they've developed the engines and whatnot. You know, and I think like they can raise enough sponsorship with Red Bull and that to keep them ticking over for the course of the season or the 2 seasons.
I think they should cancel the damn rule changes.
Well, they can't now. You see, it's signed in. You know,
Yeah, well,
it's approved.
I'm signing in.
I don't think Ducati would agree it. So I don't think any of them would agree with it. I'm also hearing that there's a little bit of conversations going on.
What a crock of shit that is.
Which
Lewis
one?
Hamilton. Did you hear the story? Lewis Hamilton's buying the race team, KTM Racing.
No, look, he would invest. It would be similar. It would be similar to like what happened with Alpine Formula One. A consortium got together there and they bought like a 30% stake in Alpine Formula One. So like you have Ryan Reynolds, a few other major fucking celebrities, and they got involved in it, right? And yeah, I wouldn't rule it out, Jake, that someone would buy some investment. And I know, like, I'm not a big fan of Hamilton. I think he's just, I won't say it, right? But he's very keen on MotoGP, so I wouldn't see it in a way that he wouldn't be interested in buying it. I don't think he has the general funding to buy a fucking full team. Like, do you know what I mean? So I think it would be some sort of consortium factor or whatnot of doing it. But I wouldn't rule it out. But saying that, buying the whole lot, I would severely doubt. I did hear though during the week that there is some grumblings about the EU and Liberty Media. So apparently there is a couple of issues that have popped up. No, Liberty are still confident that it's going to happen, but apparently there is a little bit of fears of monopolizing the motorsport world. And yeah, and it is a big thing in the saying. Now, look, they faced this already when they went into when they bought Formula One. Yeah, and you can't deny it, right? Because realistically, what they could do is by owning the two pinnacle of motorsport events, do you know what I mean? They can monopolize people out of fucking even going to them. Do you know what I mean? And like looping back to what we said about Lewis Hamilton buying a team, right now is the time to buy a MotoGP team. If you have the money, right now is the time to buy one. And I'll tell you why. When Lance Stroll bought Racing Point or whatever it fucking was at the time, right? Was it Racing Point, or it could have been Racing Point, or it could have been what I can't remember what the name of it. He bought that for 500 million. Okay, that was 2 or maybe 3 years after Liberty bought the Formula One. That team now is worth over $1 billion. Right? Yes, they have facilities. Yes, they have this. Audi last year, or maybe the year before, bought into Sauber. And they were taking full ownership of the team for 400 million. Okay?
Right.
That team is now worth over $1 billion. So you see where I'm going with this? You buy a MotoGP team now for 100 million. 4, 5, 6 years time.
Yeah.
You're going to get a massive investment. And that's the power that Liberty Media bring. Do you know what I mean? That's why it makes complete logical sense.
Believe it or not, but being that you're dealing with smaller amounts, the margins would even be higher.
100%.
The percentage of margin would be higher.
Yeah, but like what is it? What is it that Formula One was sold for like 4 or 5 billion? Yeah. It's now worth like 21, 22 billion. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? If you want, like, because the Saudis were trying to buy it and they were put in an offer of 21 or 22 billion. So, look, Liberty know what they're doing. Hopefully they don't price things out of the market, but they still need to get past the EU watchdogs, which I think is good, Jake. And I know it's a bit fucking red tape and this, that, and the other and slow things down. But sometimes these things do need to be fucking checked, right? Because look, whatever about the thing, right? Like, I don't want to see MotoGP turn into what Formula One is, in the way of fucking dickheads there getting tickets who never watched a race in their life and probably will never watch a race after going there either.
They need the shot in the arm. Let the dickheads come in and watch a race.
Yeah. But they won't watch the race. I think the point here, Jake, is whatever about the VIP ones and all of this shit, right? Like, the price in the stand has gone up. Like, you're talking to run a Formula One race now, you're talking the bones of 30 to 50 million a weekend is what the track has to pay to host an event.
Yeah.
With a
flag going, go Yamazuki, they don't know anything.
Yeah, exactly, right? But what would happen, Jake, right, is that we will lose some of the old school tracks that we fucking know and love. Assen, like, that's the cathedral of speed. Right. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be too fussed about Silverstone, right? And I've always been very open about it. But again, like, the likes of Portimao, they're not going to pay fucking 20 million for a Formula One race. Well, they do, but the government assists in that, right?
Uh-huh.
But you know what I mean? Like, they're not going to be paying for both at a high rate. One of them is going to give, and what's going to happen is MotoGP will always fucking lose out to Formula One, always.
Yeah.
Right. £100 ticket in MotoGP is a €600 ticket in Formula One. Which one are you going to fucking go for?
Right.
Of course. You know.
Right. Let's face it, we got a better show. Period.
Huh?
And we have a better show. Period.
We do, yeah. Oh, 100%. 100%. Like, but you see, like, a lot of it is a black art, right? And a lot of it is like, we're still quite lucky that the rider of a MotoGP bike can influence the bike still more than a Formula One driver can influence the car.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And we're still very lucky there that a lot of the control in that is in control of the pilot or the rider, right? Whereas with Formula One, it's not, like, do you know what I mean? There's a big difference.
Just the two vehicles in themselves. If you took a base car and a base motorcycle, it was always the rider had more input than a motorcycle.
Yeah, but
four wheels and four shocks, and you had four wheels and two shocks. You know, it's going to be the rider is more involved.
Yeah. Look, it's just, for me, it's just we just still do need to be careful of what Liberty does bring. Like, there's a lot of bonuses about Liberty. You know, it puts more eyes on it. It opens up more venues. You know, the coverage will get better. You know, like, I think riding along with your favorite rider inside in their fucking helmet, like, wow, that's going to be fucking amazing. Do you know what I mean? Battle channel where you're watching people hammer and tongs baiting past each other. That's exactly what you want to see if you're not at the track. Do you know what I mean? So I think there's a lot of positives, but again, it's just want to make sure that the everyday person that wants to go to a MotoGP race will always be able to afford to go to a MotoGP race.
Right.
Fabio Quartararo, I thought he was quite a funny statement, is that he's not putting all his eggs in the one basket of the V4 engine is going to sort everything. And I think it's kind of right, like, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
You know,
don't forget, he's been bullshitted so many times. He's like a dog that's been hit too much.
Yeah. Now for me, though, his
any statement, the jump on any one bandwagon.
Now, for me, the major thing that he said there was that Yamaha lack the quality of engineers, or the engineer. Basically, what he was saying is that there's only one Max Bertoloni there. They need multiple Max Bertolonis in there. Do you know what I mean?
The more Euro engineers, the better, as we said before. You know.
Well, yeah, but he did say that, you know, that he is seeing the progress. It will be interesting with the V4. Like, I would be astonished if Fabio throws his leg over the V4 homologated engine type, and said, I'm going to run this all year. I would fall on the floor and probably get up and have another drink.
You do everything.
Only Friday, Saturday, Sunday. yeah. But again, I suppose what I would do on that is that, like, you know, is it a risk to have Yamaha and Fabio Quartararo blowing up? Do you know what I mean? Every race probably is, you know, and I still think he will want to be somewhat competitive, and unless it's night and day difference between the V4 and the inline 4, I can't see him jumping straight on the V. But, you know, maybe that's exactly what they need. Maybe Yamaha just need 4 riders on the V4 and get the fucking data fast.
Yes. Now, how many factory riders is Yamaha going to have?
Like, they're all factory. They're all going to be same spec bikes.
No, they're all. I mean, Yeah. Okay. So actually, they're saying that the Ducati's going to have three, right? Three factory.
Three
So
factory, yeah.
Yamaha's going to have more factory bikes than Yamaha's going to have more factory bikes than Ducati.
Yeah.
And I bet you they'll be just as strong.
But you see, 25 and 26 are realistically they're a waste of fucking years, right? Like what starts this? Like I can't see the GP26 being a radical change or as much change as the 24 to 25.
No, because
So
they
so
engine freeze. How you gonna do? Yeah.
yeah, like but they could work on aero or this or that and the other. And for me, I'm just like, nah, I just think these are just two waste years, let's just call it. So I like I go back to the concessions for Honda and Yamaha. I personally think, and I said this, I couldn't see Yamaha and Honda catching up in a year or 2 years, right? And I think all this does is give them a little bit of freedom to actually figure out this whole new engineering of a motorbike while you now have to redo another one or a new concept of it.
I thought they would catch up because I thought with unlimited concessions, which they didn't take advantage of it like I thought they would. I thought they'd be at that track and be at that every chance they could get.
But yeah, but see again, Jake, it's not unlimited concessions. Like
That's right.
everyone is going.
You're still on the tires. What's
Yeah, they're still limited. Like they might get 40 extra sets of tires or whatever it is. I can't remember.
that tires.
Yeah. So yeah, like they can spend as much money as they want. They might get 5 or 6 or 10 extra test days in the year, right? But they're not going to find a fucking second and a bit. Like that just doesn't fucking happen. Do you know what I mean? It's like Zarco said the 25 Honda is basically an evolution of the 24, right? But he's saying all year the DNA of the fucking Honda is wrong.
Yeah.
So, well, wait a second. The DNA of the fucking bike is wrong. Why are you building an evolution?
Mm-hmm.
Yamaha?
Yeah.
Probably.
When you said that.
Yamaha are probably going back to the fucking drawing board. Brand new bike, brand new engine, no data. How the fuck are they going to catch up? Like these are the questions I ask myself, right? Like you look at it, right? And this is a fact, right? How far Aprilia fell last season. If you took away Maverick's wins, they would have moved into Group D in concessions. So they would have had the exact same concessions as Yamaha and Honda. That's how far Aprilia fell back last season. 41 points. They were so Joe the way if you score less than 35% of the points or whatnot, whatever available points or whatever.
Right, if they know that, they should have sandbagged.
If they beat it, or sorry, they beat it by what the 35% would have been. They beat it by 41 points. So that shows you and the world how far Aprilia fell back last season. They didn't even get 50% of the points. I think it was like 40 something percent of the points. That's like that. Like for a factory that was winning races, do you know what I mean? Pointy end of the grid the year before to fall back, and it's going to be extremely difficult for them to close that gap in this 2 years. So
but they are stronger engineers, so if they get the opportunity, they get for testing, they'll make up. They'll make gains.
Exactly, but again, look, this is by point though.
But then you had with Aprilia, they had the money to do it. I don't know why the hell they did. They agreed to the.
Anyway, where were we? Yeah. So look, I don't know. It doesn't look good for Honda and Yamaha. Like realistically, it's the perfect time though for Yamaha to introduce the V4, get 2 years of running, get an understanding. Realistically, the big change happens and try and get on it then. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
again, look, it's just one of those things that that happens. I also understand there's a bit of a falling out between Yamaha and VR46.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
So as we know, VR46 chose to stay with Ducati, and can't really blame them. But I know how to say, on the Yamaha MotoGP apparel or clothing line is actually done by Valentino Rossi VR46 apparel, and my understanding is that they have been dumped by Yamaha, and Macron has been brought in as the clothing supplier for.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
for me now, that is a big thing, right? You know what I mean? Because it's Yamaha getting rid of a Rossi branding off their items. Do you know what I mean? Which is a big thing. So I do genuinely believe that there's a little bit of trouble brewing between Yamaha and VR46, and along of
Yeah, that's Trouble in Paradise sound.
it does. Joe, and I think they kind of maybe expected Valentino to come with them. Like the master camp is gone, all of this stuff as well. So it is very, very, very interesting. We'll also be going to Brazil in 2026. So is it Giona, or is the name of the racetrack? So interesting. I never remember going there. I know apparently they had a race there in 87 and 89, but while I was around, I think I was like 7. But they got a 5-year contract out of it. Nice timing to get it as well. Good start off with the kick in with Liberty Media.
When it's cheap. Buy when it's cheap.
Yeah. So so it is interesting to see what's going on there. Who else? What was I going to say? Oh yeah, and so just as I mentioned about the thing, I actually remember the article that I was reading about it. So it's the antitrust doubts between F1 and MotoGP is what the EU is looking into. Basically, it is monopolization, but a second investigation has begun into it. But the outcome of it will be by the 19th of December is when they have to shit or get off the pot and either approve it or not. So it will be interesting. So watch this space on whether MotoGP will be taken over by Liberty. Everything is agreed, but nothing is fully signed over yet. And the last one that I have to talk about is Zarco. Zarco is the oldest rider on the grid. And the next one is Mark.
Yeah.
Now I have a lot of time for Zarco.
I can still remember him. I had a somebody had gave it to me, a poster of him. He had signed it when he won the 125cc championship.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the dog ate it. Got a hold of it.
Oh well, but look, I like Zarco. He is the typical kind of grumpyish, standoffish Frenchman, right? But he's actually a really chill character out and out. Well known for the sing song and the crack at weddings with his guitar and this, that, and the other. So seems like a few beers and an old sing song. So it sounds kind of like, is he actually French or is he Irish? But yeah, look,
how much he drinks that evening.
Yeah, exactly. We'll find out. Hopefully one day. but like I think it was actually a genius move for Zarco to go to Honda. And I know that sounds like, what the fuck are you saying?
Actually, it does. It is because you know what? He gets his ticket. He gets that's like a retirement fund for him.
Yeah, but like he'd be out in
Not
his
going to win
ass.
the title again. He's not going
If
to win a
he
race. Why not?
if he accepted the 1 year deal from Pramac last season, right? He'd be out in his ass now.
Yeah.
You know, Ducati wouldn't have kept him.
Right.
You know, maybe he would have got that Yamaha, right? Maybe, but Yamaha have already had experience with Zarco. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's not going to be the
So
man over there either.
So it's just like, I don't know, man. If you look at it, he's now an important cog to Honda. Do you know what I mean? He was their top rider last year. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
You know, so he's guaranteed himself. Let's see, he has a contract for this year. I wouldn't be surprised to see him there, and then I wouldn't be surprised to see him kept on as a test rider.
Yep.
You know,
the same exact thing.
So he's just prolonged his career. So when he did sign, everyone were like, "Are you fucking joking?" Do you know what I mean? It was actually a very smart move, and I have to call him out and say that was a pretty good one. Yeah, and I think that's about all the news. I suppose. Look, we're rolling up to Christmas, Jakey Poo.
Yep.
You know, Santa and the Fat Man. Well, no, Santa is the Fat Man, isn't he? So yeah, so Santa's coming soon. Did you ask him for a nice little present for yourself? No.
I'm so down on the list. All I get is a lump of dirt. I don't even get coal. Coal's too expensive for me.
That's it. I'm actually kind of saying, like, where's the beard? Like, we're what like. We're like 10 days. We're 10 days out. Like, you only have to have the Santa beard now for the next video, like, you know,
yeah,
or for the next podcast. So just to let people know, so the podcast, we will put out the podcast on Christmas Day. So if you're fighting with herself and you want to have some peace and quiet, you can go listen to the podcast rather than just a 2-minute video and then have to talk to herself again.
Yeah,
you know, during Christmas Day. But yeah, it's really
comes over and you're trying to get away. Yeah, in-laws.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you forgot about the in-laws. You know what I mean? The mother-in-law that always hated you. Yep.
Yeah. Well, Joe, I use those opportunities, you know, to get them extra drunk, and then they become thing because they shut up because they're too fucking drunk. They can't talk. You know. Yeah. Well, look, like, yeah, we've kind of a tradition here that Ireland. I actually don't know what it's like over there for you, but in Ireland, all the pubs are closed on Christmas Day, so you can't actually. It's one of the few. It's one of the few days in the year that you can't buy a pint just by walking into a pub. However, if you're a member of a club, so a football club or rugby club, you can go to the club as a member, as it's a private institution, and you can get a pint.
They don't have. What about the? You have 7-Elevens over there, to Wawa's, the convenience stores, right?
Yeah.
Do they sell booze at the convenience stores and supermarkets?
Yeah, but you can't drink it straight away. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can you buy a kind of, but like it's a kind of an Irish thing of like having a pint on Christmas Day, because you're not supposed to have a pint on Christmas Day because everywhere is supposed to be shut. So, you know, it's like drinking after hours. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like a lock in.
Always get after hours clubs. Oh.
I won't say the name of the premises, but Ireland have a smoking ban over here, right? And I was about 60 kilos lighter, but I used to smoke. And every night, every Friday and Saturday, Sunday night, the bar shut at 1 a.m. Do you know what I mean? You're out by 1. Oh. And this particular venue had roller shutters on the outside. So 1 o'clock would come. The barmaid would say, "Are you staying or are you going, lads?" And sure, everyone's like, sure, I'm fucking staying. Jesus Christ. So she'd go out and she'd throw down all the roller shutters, right, and put the locks on them, except for the one thing, except for the one for the door. She'd put that down but not lock it. And we had the smoking ban, so you could not smoke inside the pub. You had to go outside to smoke until the lock-in happened, and then the ashtrays would come out. So you would be drinking and smoking inside the pub. And sure, it used to be fucking mighty crack. And sure, it'd be 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. You get home then.
That's the way you want to drink. You can have a drink and a non-smoke. I mean, it's kind of good.
Oh no, but we have a smoking ban here that you can't smoke in the pub.
Yeah, we're to have it here too.
Yeah, stupid fuckers. Anyway, I gave up smoking, so what was that, 15 years ago? 14, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have. Anyway, right, so podcast will be a little bit later. It will be the three of us, I hope. Hopefully CV is not working. It's pretty slow times in MotoGP. There is a little bits of news coming out here and there, but I'm trying to keep it factual as much as I can, because there's a lot of bullshit out there, as we discussed last week, and stuff like that. So look, here's to keeping it real. Countdown to Santa is on. Jakey Boo.
Yep.
Thank you for accompanying. Thank you everyone else for listening. Another year nearly down of MotoGP.
Yep.
And we'll see everyone again on Christmas Day.
Yes.
Yes.
Hasta la vista, folks.
Have a good one, folks. Enjoy.